So I don't know. Am I live? I don't know if I'm live or not. First live stream, off to a good start. No clue if I'm live. I suppose I could check it on my phone. If anyone is watching, a comment would be great. Oh, I can see myself, so I assume I am now live. Okay, so you can see my bar. I don't really care about that. Rogue Plank afternoon, sir. How are you? There's a lot of settings for this. I don't know if there's a lag. Any type of comment on it would be good. Five people joined. Awesome. There seems to be a real lag from my end, but maybe it doesn't look like that on your end. I'm going to turn my phone off because that just is awkward. Okay. What you're seeing here, though, if you can hear me okay, is KOD Minerals going to the moon, saving the day, perhaps. For whatever reason, the chat is not working. Can't see us. Come on. I don't know. Let me see. God, I bet you're glad you're tuning into this. I don't know. Let me see. So if I duplicate this page over here. Let me see. Might be able to see. Okay, so there's a lag of about 20 seconds. Someone's saying. We don't want that. So when you're saying there's a lag, the screen, is my voice moving, but you can't hear me, or you hear the voice first? I don't know. It looks to be a lag. I thought I had the settings set up right. Oh, there's a good lag, yeah. I'm watching it live. It's horrendous. Can you hear me, though? Let me see. Hello? Yeah, that's not going to work. Right. Does it? So there's no delay. So what you're saying looks fine. 2 minutes into this live stream, shit, I know, but just trying to work this out. It is a good 20 seconds behind, but as long as it looks okay on your end, I'm okay with that. Okay, Joe, D, Lee, everyone, Paul, welcome everybody. Rogue Plank, Ramshaw Records. I hear you. I see you. Okay. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. First live stream, so these will get better. Just think there's a delay in the broadcast. Yeah, I think there's a delay in the broadcast. That might be just what happens. I don't know. But that's okay. As long as you can hear me and it all seems okay, that's fine. Excuse me if I cough a bit. I'm going to try not to do that. Oh, I want to test this out. So I'm going to mute this here just to see if this works. So if I cough, you're not going to hear that. Could you hear anything there? That was me muting it. I'm hoping that works. So at least if I need to cough, you just won't hear that. Wow, the lag is serious. Like, mute works, right? Sweet. Okay, right. Kick it off then. So KOD Minerals has decided to take off here, which is very nice. Have we any news that's just come out? I don't know. Let's have a look. No, no news. Just KOD doing KOD things, perhaps. That's a lovely rise. We've actually seen a great month, obviously, in KOD, 42.5%. Delighted with that. I don't have a huge position, unfortunately, on them because you know where my big money is. Let's get into it. The Premier African Minerals Dream. Jesus, now down 12.6%. It's been a horrible month for KOD, our Premier African Minerals holders. And it's not been a great 6 months or the year, as we know. Need to just talk about some stuff that's happened today then. We had Jeffrey reach out to me and I shared it in my private Discord. Keyword being private. Unfortunately, look, stuff's been leaked. We've addressed it, dealt with it, and I've reached out to Jeffrey. I am disappointed that people felt the need to go ahead and speak to Jeffrey about it. And I think, just for clarity, there was nothing in those text messages that was of any importance. Anybody that's read in the text messages in any different way really shouldn't have. It's quite clear that he was pretty much promoting what Stark are doing. I'm still hoping to have that conversation with him later. But I'm disappointed with how all that's transpired, really. But it is what it is. Also, the camera I know is probably pretty crap. I'm using my webcam. I didn't want to overcomplicate it by trying to plug in my external camera, so bear with me. And I do have my little friend. He's got worse since yesterday, so forgive that as well. So here we've got audio and video is fine. The mute works. Nope, didn't hear the cough button. Nice, not a thing, Paul. What? Jeffrey, get back to you to continue his call with you. I'll just check. I did reach out to him to apologize, really, for what happened. I'm embarrassed that I had. I think it's really childish, people going on and messaging him saying, "Oh, Jeffrey, guess what he said," or whatever. It is what it is. No, he's not came back. And I messaged him about 11:30. I'll update the Discord, obviously, as I do with if he gets back to me. But the last thing we talked about was having a beer at about 6 p.m. European time, which is 5 p.m. UK time. So I'll probably know in the next couple of hours if we're going to have that chat. It was a non-recorded chat. It was to be confidential, and it will remain that way. But I was hoping to have a nice sort of off-the-record chat, but I'm hoping that will still happen, but we will see. As we can see here, we've got some CanMax having a bit of a green day, but this KOD Dream is fairly pumping. That's a lovely gain on the day, over 9%. I really don't know what sparked that, but it's probably just building up to the idea of funding coming, hopefully. I'm hoping. Let's have a look at what's coming up in the week ahead anyway. Retail earnings and sales, the latest inflation readings, and the deadline to avert a government shutdown. So there's a bit of drama coming out. I think also I read there that there's been a downgrade of the performance for the year from Moody's, perhaps. So that is also started the day off. Or actually, I think I brought that up here. Yeah, stock futures dip after Moody's cuts US outlook. So, give us a chance here, guys. But yeah, that is just grim reading. Moody's expects the US fiscal deficits will remain very large, significantly weakened debt affordability. So grim. I do think that the stocks are going to crash massively next year. And let's have a look at how the performance is done on the S&P since we last spoke about it last week. We can see here we've had a nice rise since that buy symbol's come on, but we've hit this level. Now, is Moody's going to be what sinks it, or is it just typical support levels? We drew this out before. You can see this has always been a bit of a support and resistance level. So I do fancy us to potentially struggle here. But we may go down and test this 200, maybe sort of in and around this range of 300, touch that, and then hopefully push on. I'm still hopeful that we're going to see more of a rally. And I do envisage in the next couple of live streams, I'm going to try to pick out swing trades. I didn't want to overcomplicate things. I'm just happy that it's working for this stage. But there is plenty of good stocks out there that are doing well, and I'm going to hopefully do live trading on the day chart and try to show you what I look at. I try to trade as much as I can, and I do put a lot of it into the Discord, but there's a lot of trades that I don't, because a lot of it I'm just skimming bits and bobs. But the real quality setups I try to share in my Discord, but I would like to just do my trades kind of live and just show you how I do it. And there'll be winners and there'll be losers, but obviously the key is to always have more winners than losers. So that's it. The other stock that we've been watching closely in terms of, an idea of when the crash is going to come is Apple. Now, those that are following the channel for a while will know my thoughts here. But this is actually a nice sort of downtrend that is bounced off lovely and went up. So you can see here, we're starting to potentially become a bit overbought, sorry. So I envisage again a bit of a pullback to come, probably this week, but hopefully the pullback is nothing more than a pullback, turns around and pushes on. So just expect, as I said in yesterday's brief video, I just tread safe this week. I wouldn't worry about it. There's been enough drama with Premier African Minerals. And to go back again, let's have actually like a PREM here on the detailed charts. What's people saying? I just lately get a mail from GM, but nothing new so far. Okay, cool. PREM though, I mean, this is a horror show. This was the level we talked about. We drew this in the last video and we talked about it. This 0.32 being the support level. And that looks to have sort of hit. You can see the wick, if we zoom in on this. We can see that the wick fell below, but it got ate up straight away. And a lot of people will be looking at this as a level, because it has been such an interesting level of resistance and support over the previous times. And anytime we've tried to get up above it, it's been hard to do. But we'll know what happens when we fall below this. And let's just get the balls out of the bath. If this news comes, and I'm just speaking freely of my own thoughts, I think Stark have delivered on their plant. That was the original issue that was, if you recall. Let's see, it takes us way back to this level. We were going all nicely, thinking we were going into production. That's the story. Production delay, sunk, and then it's just been the force majeure and all the different things that we've had to deal with the whole way along here. And then we got to this period, and yeah, some rumbles of potential delay. The last RNS that came out last week wasn't obviously too favorable, but the positive that you could look at it, or there's two ways you could look at it. People were looking at it as in it was no update we were hoping for. That's a bad sign. It did have the sort of disclaimer that it always has, that potentially, it could not happen, the production date of the 25th. And then the other side of the coin that I looked at it was they were just confirming that Stark have delivered. They've been paid because they have delivered. So that's the positive. Stark's no longer the issue. That it looks to be that they've been paid because their equipment works. But then the downside is, well, what's the hold up now? So it's sort of like a new unknown risk. And it maybe has something to do with the feed coming into it, the quality of the grading. I don't know. No one knows. And I suppose the radio silence from PREM is hurting us all. But it is causing a sell-off. Now, again, not speaking from any inside knowledge at all, just me thinking out loud that potentially the huge sell-off that we've seen in the previous sort of week would be Stark selling some of their money. Now, people will say, well, that's crazy to sell at a loss. They are selling at a loss, if that is truth. But they've bills to pay. They've just been paid in shares. They've there's contracts that they're involved in. You don't know their setup, so they have to sell potentially to pay the bills, which is standard. They would have obviously liked to seen the share price go up, I'm sure, but that may have been a deadline that they had to sell regardless of the share price to get monies out. They've not completely sold out. That's apparent. So if they have trimmed some money, it could be just that's what they had to do, and it's nothing more than that to read into. But then there will be people and that will be thinking that they've sold because they know the deadline is not coming. So look, if the deadline doesn't come, what's worst case scenario? I think still, as we talked about, this level of 0.23 to 0.25, this sort of range will be your next drop. And if we're looking at worst case scenario, then you're looking at in and around probably a 25% drop. So that would be lovely to take. Now, to put it in perspective, because there's been people that are said, should you sell? And it doesn't really matter if you sell because it's all paper money on this channel. We don't actually play with real money. But if you were playing with real money, should you sell? You've got to ask yourself, what are you selling for? Do you believe in the project long term? If you do, then you should be seeing it as a golden opportunity to top up. Because if you were to say see 0.24 or whatever, I mean, I don't need to remind people what it would be like. You're talking over 300% rise just to get back to these levels that we were previously at about 6 months ago. So that would be lovely. But if you were to sell, if you say I had an average price of what, say 0.7, so right now you're probably down about 54, 53%. To see it fall down to this level, you're going to see what, another sort of 12% loss. So you've got to ask yourself, while yes, it could fall another 25%, if your average price is 0.7, oh, have I gone? Have I gone? Oh, I think I'm gone. Is the live stream over? Oh, the live stream's back. I don't know what happened there. I don't know if it did go. It looked like it went my end. Maybe it didn't. But what I was trying to say is you've got to ask yourself if you have an average price of 0.7 and you see it fall that extra 25% in real terms, it's only going to be about 12% more to you. Yes, it's not nice. But what I'm trying to say is the opportunity maybe to have sold before is gone. And if anyone's got even a higher price, if anyone, God love them, has got an average price of sort of 0.8 or something, you've seen your stock fall by 60%. To go down to this level, it's another 10%. So what I'm trying to say is it's all relative. If you believe in it, I would be not probably selling and looking to top up, but I would be timing it. And as you know, I didn't buy. I tried to time my buy as best. I bought last week at 0.42, I think, and then I was going to buy at 0.3 ish, but just with the uncertainty, I'm going to hold off just to see what the next couple of days brings, rightly or wrongly. But I am prepared for this 0.25, and I suppose it's one of them ones as a security blanket. I'm happy enough to maybe wait, because if the worst does come, it would be lovely to be able to be buying around 0.25. I'm not worried about PREM in the real long term. It's always been a long hold for me. But let's just see what some people are saying here then. So the mute works. Yep. Oh, sorry, I read that. Let's see. Stark is deliver from what they have to do. Yeah, I agree. I think that's apparent now. I expect the 25th will be missed, in my opinion. Will PREM drag it out to let us know? 25th of November, with fear of the market, they should update us. I think so. I think that if they know ahead of time that they're not going to make it, they should just let us know as soon as possible. And I do think that the market's baking in the worst case scenario. I know from the chats that I'm having with people, there seems to be a lot of fear within the retail, and understandably, there's a lot of fear. I think 2 weeks ago we thought we might have got news this was going to come earlier. I fully expected it to come slightly earlier and actually beat production. For it not to even happen it was so like off my radar. I just thought the new agreement, the new production was so low that there was just no way that this was going to happen. And I said it in my last video quite firmly that I think questions will have to be asked of the leadership. Why has this not happened? But like, until we have the facts, there's no point trying to speculate. And I think a lot of that has got us into this mess. People thinking the worst all the time. I've tried to think of every outcome, and every outcome I look at is long term. I think PREM will be okay, but let's just see what comes of it. I understand there's a lot of people have a lot of money tied up, and if people have been buying in, as I said, there was a lot of people that only got into this position sort of around these levels. You're talking, what, March, February time last year, trying to ride it up. They've seen their money go up, and then they've seen it go down, and they've maybe been buying even further up. And like I said, anyone that's got a price around 0.8, to see your stock maybe go down 70%, it's going to be heartbreaking. So that's why I'm saying, if you don't have much paper money left in your paper account, then I would be probably waiting just for a bit more certainty, or at least some sort of RNS, because I don't think, unless it's a production, I don't think any RNS is going to come out is going to massively pump the stock or anything. Even if we got good clarity, unless it's production, I don't foresee it pumping too hard. So I would wait maybe for that clarity. There's a couple of people saying they're looking forward to the big buy coming in on the 25th. Well, that's it. You know, the thing's going to sell off probably on the 25th. But I do think there's a lot of people baking this price in. So, you know, you have to see what that is. I'm going to try and see if I can work out how many people are on this live stream. Is there any way of doing it? 20 odd people. Woohoo! Well, I'm chuffed. I'm chuffed for that because I could have been sitting here on my own and that might have been pretty freaking awkward. So sorry, I'm a wee bit all over the place. KOD, nothing's happening. What are people saying about KOD Dream? What's making this pump? Okay, it's dipped a bit. We're only up 6%. Not sure, but I topped up earlier. Happy days. It was oversold. People, was it oversold? Let's have a look. I'm not so sure if KOD was oversold, to be honest. Let's see. Oh. Was it oversold? Definitely wasn't oversold. If anything, KOD Minerals was overbought, massively overbought. Bit of a downturn coming, unless they're seeing something that it's definitely wasn't oversold. Whoever said that is talking nonsense, and that would probably back up what a lot of these groups are about. They're great, a lot of great information in there, but it takes a long time for me to understand what people's agendas are and thought processes, and it takes a long time to build up trust with people because there is just people just say whatever they want in these groups. You don't know who they are. Everyone has a fake name. I'm not saying any of these people are making stuff up. I don't know them at all, but I'm just saying you have to be careful with where you're getting your information and who you're taking it from. I mean, don't trust me. Don't trust anybody. What I'm saying is just do your own due diligence, and hopefully you find somebody that you can kind of do a bit of fact checking on and believe in what they're saying. Okay, so this week, investors can expect reports from big box retailers, including Walmart, Target, Home Depot, Macy's, the Macy's dream. I was in Macy's once upon a time, maybe about 3 odd years ago now, as the COVID rebound, and it was very, very profitable to me. It was a great paper trade. So yeah, I have fond memories of Macy's. Wouldn't touch them now, but anyway, we'll also get the latest updates from consumer inflation and the housing market. Okay, so nothing really to expect today apart from this consumer inflation expectations for October. I wouldn't really buy into that too much, weigh into that much. This is the one here, the CPI data as always, coming in on Tuesday. So the markets will be bumpy until at least that data comes out. I'm not loving Moody's downgrade, which isn't great either. The producer price PPI, I'd like to keep an eye on that, but the retail, no, there's nothing really there. The home buyers, I don't understand this housing market. It's a weird one. It's like all I'm hearing from people that are actually there's a guy in London he's on the Bricky and he's on site and he's saying like, you know, the things are just shutting down. They're not really building as much anymore. But the demand's still there because all them people that are COVID and getting outbidded and couldn't buy anything or finding, well, I can buy a house now. I don't know how they're buying houses with 6% interest rates or something. Unbelievable. I do worry that that's a bubble that will burst and it'll be pretty damn bad when it does come. But like, it's held up remarkably well, and who knows what the future. I actually seen an interesting read an interesting article about, and it goes into what we were talking about. Like, let me see, I'll show you here some stocks. So we've got Matterport, for example, one of my long-term holds, had a fantastic week, but on this grand scheme of things, let's see, it's a horror show for me. Like, so you can see Matterport. I remember buying into it, believe it or not, and maybe people can take comfort from this because this is a great story. If I got myself out of a bit of a hole on Matterport, I started buying into Matterport back in September 21, believe it or not. And the thing sunk, sunk really bad. Let me see if I can bring it up here. I even remember buying in and around 30, thinking this is great. Kind of a swing trade. It's only good news was coming out at the time, but within what was that? pretty much within 2 weeks, the thing is sold off 30%. And it was down like 25%. But at that stage, it's like, well, I'm going to wait for the bounce off the 200-day moving average. And as you can see here, she did not bounce off that 200-day moving average. Within about a month and a half, I was down a further 66%. And then all of a sudden, I remember looking at my position going, Christ, I'm down about 75% here in absolutely no time. So what did I do? Because I believed in it long term, and I still do. I've had apps, I've got full conviction in it. It's a great sort of, before even AI was being talked about, it was a great AI. Oh no, I wouldn't say it was an AI play at the time. For me, it was, I liked the way they were incorporating how they were going to be able to do insurance claims, how they were going to be able to map out housing for real estate and sort of things that I'm interested in, construction and all that. The benefits, I really seen a space for it. Ultimately, the space being that, rightly or wrongly, it's going to reduce man hours. It's going to be the software is going to be able to get rid of people doing jobs, which companies are obviously going to like. Now the subscription models are going through the roof, and that's what's led this big buy. But I mean, there's a long road back. I mean, a long road back. $30 down to one stage there, it was below $2. So absolute steal. Really like it. And I've been buying support levels the whole way down. I'm still considerably down. I'm down about 25%, but I've nearly got myself out of the hole. And what I'm trying to say is anyone that's in the position, if they believe in something long term, they Matterport's a different beast from the likes of PREM. You know, one's an established company. The other one's, it's a high risk penny stock in the mining sector in a ropey enough country, let's be honest. So don't compare apples for apples. But what I'm trying to say is if you time your buys, don't just throw money into a sinking hole. Try, and we'll go back to looking at PREM. I don't really know what this live stream's about, guys. I'm just sort of talking here at this stage. I'm just happy that it's working. And I'll look at your comments in a moment. But what I'm trying to say is, you know, if you were in this position, and a lot of people are or were in that position, where they all of a sudden within a month you were down 40%. What do? You're waiting for the bounce, which came here in this scenario. So yeah, perhaps if you bought here, say you had 10 grand in at this stage of paper money. If you had 10 grand of paper money in here, and you saw yourself down 50%, but if you were cute enough and understood that perhaps you're going to get a bounce off a 200-day moving average, if you doubled down here, would have brought your average position to here, and you actually would have went green probably on that position. So what I'm trying to say is if you just aimlessly throw in money and you're not really affecting your average price just by blindly buying wherever, you're going to miss opportunities to get yourself out of a hole. So then when we fell into this channel, logically, I would have looked at this and went, right, okay, we're in this channel, so what's going to happen now? We're probably going to go up and down. So where would you be topping up? Well, you'd be topping up here, 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 here. And how many times, if you just kept buying at these levels, would you have seen your money go up? You may, even if you were up to this, you know, again, let's see. Hopefully this makes a bit of sense. But yeah, if you were, say, buying at this level, and then you waited to here and you doubled down, then your average price might have been what, about here somewhere. Then if you double down again, then your average price might have been about here. And then all of a sudden you're starting to get yourself out of a hole. So if you use support levels and try and find ranges and buy at the right time, you can bring that average price down and you can sort of do a bit of jiggery. Now, as we've seen in that Matterport example, it didn't bounce off the 200. So it is all probabilities and law of averages. But generally speaking, these things happen. And if you know how to kind of time it, then when you're in this channel, you could be bouncing. So what would I be doing now? Because it's safe to say, it's safe to say we're in this channel now. Unless huge news comes out, there's nothing that's going to get us out of this channel for a while yet. So what I'd be doing? Well, again, I'd be waiting for this level. Probably be buying these levels because what are we at? 0.3 right now. This is your top up, and then you'll be hoping it's just going to go sort of up and down, a bit like this. And then if you were kept buying at these lows, you could, over the coming months, do a bit of jiggery to get yourself kind of back into a decent position. That's kind of how I always do it when you're investing on a long hold and it's went horribly wrong. So hopefully you take a bit of comfort in that if you believe in the project long, then time your buys as best you can. And before you know it, you could be looking back at this with an average price of maybe even a 0.3, 0.4 going, Christ, right, I'm here and look how much I've got even up to this level, 145%. So maybe in 6, 7, 8 months' time, if the worst happens, you could find yourself in a pretty sweet position, and looking pretty good. But you've got to believe in something long, and that is why it's so important before investing heavily, especially heavily, in something that you do have conviction. I do have conviction. I believe what is in the ground is there. We've had too many people involved. You think CanMax have just came over and went, we're just going to give you a load of money here, and trust it's all going to be okay. You know, they've done their due diligence and checks that it's not all smoke and mirrors. We've got a full operational plant. There's a lot of things that have happened. We're too far down the road for all this just to be, a lie, if people want to say that. So what is the worst case? The worst case is we've got a delay, and potentially the positive is we've got a golden opportunity here to buy more paper money of something. Yeah. So that's that. Kodal. Oh, we looked at Kodal. Kodal's just going to probably bounce along this range until we get news. If it doesn't get funding, it's going to sell off. And the other stock that I wanted to talk about briefly was American Battery Technology, because a lot of people, I can't even remember what we said in the last video. It's something that I just haven't got around to doing a proper video on. I will, but going back to what I was saying there about buying opportunities, look where we are, guys. This is your buying, this is your top up opportunity right now, for a long hold. But I mean long hold because I think there's hard times ahead, and these types of stocks, although they have sold off massively and they're massively down, I do fancy more potential pain to come, or at very least very little to happen. I mean, 94%. Jesus, good God, that is one hell of a. You know what? Christ. Sorry about the whistle there. Probably annoyed your ears, but Christ Almighty, that is one brutal drop. Horrendous, absolutely horrendous. But I mean, so many stocks are like that. Another stock that I'm interested in, that I've got money in, but I'm actually looking to try and do this jiggery thing that I'm talking about to get rid of it, is Teladoc. Again, looking at jobs, 2-3 years ago was always about, right, what companies are doing something that's going to reduce man hour, because it's all great as a company having a great idea and great profitability, but what's going to peak major companies to buy services or subscription plans, in my opinion, it's going to be companies that are literally going to be able to reduce man hours, cut staff. That's the biggest overheads for most companies. Like that is their biggest overhead. It's not a dispute that is what the biggest overhead is. So if you can get rid of a load of man hours, a load of wages, and all the benefits, holiday pays that brings, and get a robot or software that can do that job, companies are going to buy it. So that's why I like Teladoc, but I do want it off my books because I've kind of moved on. My thought process was back then was, I was thinking a lot about COVID and all that type of play, and I caught this whole bull run. But then back then I was looking for long holds, and rightly or wrongly, I've held. I don't have a huge amount of money in it, and about 60% of my position is original profits, so I'm okay with it. But I am now looking to get rid of that, and I'm going to be doing a bit of jiggery. I don't know why I went into talking about that. Let's have a look at FinViz. So we've got some big news. Let's have a look. What time is the market opening? 35 minutes away from the market opening. But we can, the futures don't look too sexy, unfortunately. Let's see if we can get up. Yeah, we've already read that article. Where's the pre-market? Treats. So yeah, a red day. We're waiting on that CPI data. Moody's has obviously played its part as well, but I think ultimately the main thing is, as I showed you, was the SPY is massively overbought, and it's due a bit of a pullback. Let's have a look at the NASDAQ here. I would imagine it'll be something quite similar. It is quite similar. You can see we are coming to overbought territory. Maybe a wee bit of a push still to come on that. But we've got this channel. It looks like we'll be breaking out of this channel. It would be fantastic if we were to sort of maybe go up, down, test, and then push on. I mean, that would be phenomenal, out of this world. And don't forget, the NASDAQ has got a lot of your big AI plays. And if there's anything going to be driving this market forward, it's probably going to continually be these AI plays. So the NASDAQ could still be performing well. Personally speaking, I'm nervous about the market. I don't mind doing some swing trades, but I wouldn't be going long in any new positions. And I haven't done that now for maybe 12 to 18 months. So treading very carefully. Let's have a look at some of your questions or stuff. What have I got? Lee Hutchins, 18. That's probably answering something, but I don't know what that means. 18. Don't know. Dr. Peter Vickman. Okay, we got the Ghostbusters with us. Nice. Good afternoon to you too, sir. PREM down 0.29. Oh, Jesus, this like a PREM. Is it my live stream that's having the negative effect? Pump. Bye. Let's have a look. Let's actually look at the main. Oh. Yeah. I said in the Discord this would be my top up 0.3. I ain't buying. Should be buying though. I'm going against the charts. I'm going against kind of what I should be looking at, really, in my opinion. But with penny stocks, it's a bit different. We know there's not a lot of liquidity, and we do know that someone can pump a stock very easily, or dump a stock very easily, which has a massive impact. So I'm just going to tread carefully, especially if I can get chatting with Jeffrey later. It might help me a bit make a better decision, and I'll try and share what I can later in the Discord. But oh Jesus, boys, hey Georgie boy's not done us any favors here, has he? Look, where is he? Let's have a look at him. There he is, legend, the man. If he was here right now, I'd be saying, Jesus, George, what's happened, mate? What's happened? But he's not, so keep off for another day. Heartbreaking. What else we got? Peter Vickman showing 0.27 and trading 212. Trading 212 does what it wants. I still have some of my position left in trading 212. But I would never use it again for any type of like EM stock. Any stock that you can't buy or sell quickly, I wouldn't go near trading 212. Not that WEBULL is trading, but it's my newest platform, and I have to say the links are down below. You get $200 worth of free shares if you want to click that link. But ultimately, it's been a great platform. Really, really enjoying that for swing trading. I've actually been slowly buying into a new position on ABML, ABTC, American Battery Technology. It is on that. And it's going really well, because I've thankfully not been able to buy, and then the big sell-off came. Let me see here. Can I show you? Can I show you? I'm going to try and bring it up here. So, I don't know if you can see. Can you see that? Of course, I'm trying to show you something, but I can't see it on that. Let me see. Oh, so big position on the ABML Dream, but can you see that sort of 94% up or something? It's going well. It's going really well, but it's not purely ABML. There is Tesla and Apple. Believe it or not, I'm long in Apple, but I was long because of the rebound that was coming. It just made sense to go with the best in class, and that's arguably Apple. Oh, the live chat thing is working now on my software. Not that you can see that or care. Let me just see what else we got question wise. Catching a falling knife with this one. Hi, well, I did actually I used that actual term in the Discord today. It says it feels like you're trying to catch a falling knife. That's why you've really got to time your buys as best you can, because you could. God, I know people that just buy every sort of 3, 4, 5% drop. Thing is, that's all well and good if you have a limited amount of money, but if you don't, I mean, because some of these paper trading accounts that people have, they only give you so much. So, and you're starting to see, God, that's a real long delay. Showing you my 300 notes there, but all just noise until the 25th of November. When they deliver or not, I'll be topping up. Well, there's Clay. Bit of positivity, Clay. That's it, man. You know, we'll have to hear from Big Georgie and the guys, get an understanding that this is something that they can explain, that this is something that's just a genuine delay, while it's a very frustrating and questions have still probably got to be asked. You can understand it, but we need to know what it's about, don't we? So I think that'll do it. How many have we got on the live stream now? Yeah, 15 people. Listen, guys, I'm going to probably leave it there because, again, it was more just to test this all out. I will be bringing proper content. Like I said, I want to I want to start doing some live trading. We will obviously cover our stocks, but I really want to do some live trading, so people can check it out and maybe see what kind of trades I'm opening. I'm just getting used to this, and I'm hopefully going to get this camera sorted and different things. And I would like to have my usual sort of transitions and different things. I'm going to try something that I had set up. I don't know if it'll work fully. Let me see. Oh, I don't. Where is it? Okay, I'm going to try this. Let's see. Okay, I think that just took me away, so that didn't do what I was hoping it to do. So there you go. Improvements to be made for sure. But listen, that is everything. I'm gonna just show you what I'm seeing here on my end, because there is a delay. I mean, look at this delay. It's crazy. But over 13, a couple people dropped off already. What happened? What happened? But I think the peak there, we're at 21, I seen. So thanks everyone for tuning in. It will get a lot better. I swear to God, it'll get a lot better. But yeah, that was fun. Thanks again. And I will catch you all the next time. And yeah, the Discord link's down below if you want to get in and all that self-promo stuff. Peace. This will probably take me about 5 minutes to turn this off. Here. Let me see. How do you fucking do it?